Number 20. What are the solutions of the equation 2x squared minus x is equal to 3? This is a quadratic equation, meaning a second degree equation, so we would expect two solutions. Note that all four options have two solutions. Now these are two values for x. In theory, you could take each of those values, substitute them in individually for x, see which pair of x values satisfy the equation, so you could select your answer by plug and chug. However, let's look at two ways to solve this equation.
Mike Williams, you've got a call parked on 8107.
This equation is very close to being in standard form. We need to set it to 0 to have it specifically in standard form. So let's subtract 3 from both sides of that equation, meaning we need to set it to 0. 2x squared minus x minus 3. Now we are very clearly in standard form. Let's factor this equation. I'm going to factor it with you and for you two different ways. Let's slide factor it first. You're going to take your leading coefficient, multiply it times your constant, and do a rewrite. X squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Let me back up for a moment and remind you that when you slide factor, you do have a four-step process. The process is a slide, divide, reduce, and clear. It is a four-step process. I recently started recommending to my students that they check off each step as they do it. What we just did was our slide step. Now let's go ahead and factor this quadratic. You're going to look at the sign on your constant and see that it is a negative sign. That means the signs within your factors will be different. You're going to have an x plus and an x minus. Now you're looking for factors of 6 that add to negative 1. Factors of 6 appear, you're going to have a minus 3 and a plus 2, because a plus 2x and a minus x will give you a negative xb term. So we did our slide. Now we need to turn around and do our divide. We multiplied by 2, so we're going to divide by 2. The next step is to reduce any fractions that you have. X plus 1. Our 3 over 2 does not reduce. So we did our slide, our divide, our reduce, and the last thing we need to do is to clear any remaining fractions. Now we're going to apply the zero product property to find our two solutions. We're going to take each of our factors and set them equal to 0. Subtract 1 both sides, and one of our solutions appears to be x is equal to negative 1. To solve our other equation, we're going to add 3 to both sides. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 3/2 appears to be our other two solutions. Negative 1 and 3/2 is option C. Let's factor the same problem by splitting our middle term and then grouping. We do need to set our equation to 0 first, however. So now we're going to start again with 2x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. To split the middle term, we're going to keep the first term. We're going to keep the last term. Again, I'm going to look at my sign. My sign on C is negative. That means I'm going to add one term with an x in it, and I'm going to subtract another. The signs of when I split the middle term are going to be different. So again, we're going to multiply a times c. We're looking for factors of 6 that add up to negative 1. I would go with negative 3x and a plus 2x. Let's just double check ourselves. Negative 2x minus, I didn't say that right, 2x minus 3x gives us that negative x in the middle. All right, now we'll factor the result by grouping. Since I have 4 terms, I'm going to group by 2. From the first 2 terms, I'm going to factor out a greatest common factor of 2x. What I want to try to do is duplicate the x plus 1 in the 2 remaining terms. If I factor out a negative 3, I can duplicate that x plus 1. X plus 1 is my new greatest common factor. I'm going to factor that out. And what remains is 2x minus 3. Now what I should have shown you in the second factoring, and I'm going to go ahead and show you in this factoring opportunity, is I do recommend either completely foiling out your two binomials to see if you get the original problem, minimally check your first and last terms. X times 2x gives you your 2x squared. 1 times negative 3 gives you your negative 3. So you have a little bit of a sanity check that you have factored properly. Now from here, the rest of the solving of this problem is the same. We're going to take our factors, set them equal to 0, apply your zero product property. Minus 1 both sides here. You're going to get x is equal to negative 1. Add 3 to both sides on this one. And you're going to get 2x is equal to 3. Divide by 2. My writing's getting poor. Again, we come up with option C.